Artists rely on their talent. Maybe they are surrounded by people who keep on telling them that they are talented.
Need a team, but so many people are looking for a team when they haven't even tried like the basic steps themselves.
This used to be some sort of an elite group back in the day.
It was so like kind of
so satisfying.
It was so satisfying. It was so kind of it was kind of engaging, I would say, right? And
Guys, hello everyone. We are here at Hana Road Studios. I'm Andy, Artemy here, and I guess we're gonna just have a nice talk and quite a fun one, about the music industry, more or less.
We're gonna touch on all those topics that we usually come across on a daily basis here.
Because we always, how we always have this talk, and I feel like we keep on hitting it. Like the comparison between the Swiss industry and more or less what's happening in the European industry or in the international one, I guess. Because I feel like the Swiss one is quite a special one. I personally had a kind of a bit of a shock comparing it to what I was expecting versus what I kind of encountered when I came here. So I felt like, I don't know, it was completely different from what I experienced. But you've been in Switzerland for way more than I've been, and you've been like
so you're talking about from the perspective of a sound producer here, or from a perspective of a person living here? I mean, obviously, I think more from a perspective of a sound producer. So how's that different? What's the difference for you between like you're from Romania and you've achieved quite a lot of things there, in your
as much as I was able to.
in your times there, and lots of number ones. You work with all the top artists possible there with the biggest labels, and you moved here. What is the difference between the two markets, considering both of them are not like they're not the US market, not the UK market, but still.
I mean, the first impression that I had was the fact that literally like all the music in Switzerland, okay, not to generalize, but most of it it's kind of imported, right, from the territories around it. Romania as well imports a lot of music, especially the international one, but it still has kind of that local industry going on with the Romanian music, with the Romanian language. Here, because more or less the country is quite divided between like 4 languages and 4 regions around Switzerland. I mean, it's a big challenge in general, like doing music. Depends if you're doing it in France, if you're doing it in German, or it's just kind of.
So do you think it's the division of the country that's the main issue here, or what is the main issue? Like what? I mean, there are other countries I think that have.
Or at least languages that cut through, because I'm thinking that even in Romania, because I'm half Hungarian, we still have a community there, a small community in the Transylvania region that speaks Hungarian, but it's not like you can say that there's a Hungarian music industry inside of Romania, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we still have more or less 2 languages, the Romanian and the English. So I don't know. I think in Switzerland, all the other languages cut through and became kind of main languages for a certain region, let's say. Because I'm not sure like people from the German or from Zurich side might speak too well like French, right?
I mean, overall, the way I think the market here is, you have that C market, right? It's basically it's a small market which is very expensive to operate, and for many labels, many like even major labels, big distributions, it's very cost ineffective to open up an office here, when it's much more cost effective to just let the music be imported here. Like if you look at New Music Friday Switzerland, you'll have around like 15 songs that are playlisted, like they're coming from US. You'll have 10 songs that are coming from UK, and maybe like 3 that are Swiss, actual Swiss artists. So you end up having like a very, very small exposure of the Swiss local market versus the one that's coming from abroad. So it's kind of inevitable. It becomes a C market, and like by A market, I mean like that's the big culture exporters. The B market is kind of like, we got, for me, like I think it maybe like Spain is a good example of a B market, right? They have their local market. It's a healthy market, but then you also have like lots of music imported, so it's quite balanced, I would say. But same goes for Italy, like obviously Italian market, they have their own artists, they don't really export as much. I mean, even though they still have some artists that, I mean, we know, and some songs that we know, so it still has a market, but then quite lots of import going on. It's completely different story here. And can it be changed?
Well, I mean, that's
and
a good
what would
question.
You start with?
Even in the Swiss awards category, you still have it divided, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
You have awards
you
for
have the
French.
Swiss Romandie, you have the awards kind of for the rest of the Switzerland, but then there isn't even the Italian part, so it's kind of like even the music industry itself. I mean, it's all settled anyways in Zurich, right? So if you're based in let's say Lugano or something, you're having a hard time. But that's kind of like the same in many countries where, that's like, true. Let's say if you're in England, I mean, you have to be more or less in London or Manchester, all right. But they have, two big kind of, I think, cities for music. When it comes to France, you do have a bit of the Marseille scene there. You have of course, the Paris as the, let's say, the grand capital of music and media and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's Zurich here, and then since Zurich is in the German part, and that's the majority of the population here, right? It's like, I mean, they speak, 80% speaks German. You kind of locking into that area there. But then once again, the artists, once they pop in Switzerland, they just leave to another country. They escape, so they don't grow the local market. They kind of want to escape the market, right? So if an artist like became big here and started bringing the industry around around him, bringing, like, let's say, other producers, other I don't know, directors, the like tour managers, whatever, like in Switzerland, then the industry would start growing. But what happens is they leave. And that wasn't the case, let's say, in countries like, I mean, in Sweden with all their success, and like Netherlands, and, in Romania as well. Like you basically had big hits, but the artists stayed. So then the local industry started growing. And I think one way for the industry to start like healthily growing here is for the artists not to run away from Switzerland at the first slightest, at the first million of streams they have on Spotify, not to just like book a ticket to Berlin or book a ticket to Paris and be like, yeah, all right, thank you very much. Even though, I mean, I can understand why they do that, because the market is bigger. They need to be more connected to the industry there. But I think, there has to be some kind of first steps made from the Swiss artists not to do that, and to actually invite all the players here and create the Swiss government has to also create a good environment for all those companies. Let's say, I mean, tax incentives, it can be whatever, it's up to them to decide, but they have to create a good environment for all these companies to come in and, be here and be close. And this way you can actually grow some, culture.
I mean, it totally makes sense. But, I was wondering, in a way, an argument that you started the conversation with, the artist, might leave, but the fact that they leave Switzerland, for the music side of things, it also can become cheaper, right? Because I mean, in Switzerland, in order to actually do music, sometimes can be pricey as anything in Switzerland, right? So more or less, the moment they leave, either one artist, that pops, straight away, it opens in a way another market. But at the same time, it becomes the music maybe a bit less expensive and like the day-to-day living. Or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I mean, if you, let's say, you going from Switzerland to France, you can cut on your costs, both on living and production and all that goes around it. But I think this is what we have, and let's see how it develops further.
For sure. No, and I mean, more or less, that's what we keep on trying to do here as well at Hana Road Studios. I mean, we try to develop as much as we can to work around with the resources that we have here on the local market, and to try to promote as many artists as we are able to do so based here in Switzerland. Of course, not limited, because you cannot put a kind of a line to the talent, but at the same time, we are involved as much as we can to develop.
The question then regarding the artists, why do you think so many of them fail? And I mean, not only locally but globally.
Yeah. I mean, the industry overall, I think it kind of proven to ourselves that it changes. It's dynamic and it changes, but at the same time, the ones who are consistent, they are able to kind of pass through any situations or any change, And I feel like most of the artists are not consistent enough. Also, maybe not working hard enough, because that could be another argument, because like lots of artists rely on their talent. Maybe they are surrounded by people who keep on telling them that they are talented and stuff, but like most of the times, as we both know, and many situations, it's all about the hard work, man, and the hard work can compensate the talent big time. So I mean, I felt like many times the talented artists were not willing to actually put in the work that's needed.
I think that is I mean, the effort, right? That's the part of the effort. But I think why so many artists fail is because they don't actually take the time to educate themselves. I think they basically they might take some effort to do something, right? But I think the main thing is we see so many of them coming, right? They're coming to us, coming to our partners as well, being very unprepared, like not knowing what to do. But I mean, they come at such a big unprepared, like they're being so unprepared when so many things are available for free online. I'm not saying that every, the first article of the Google page you read is going to be your solution for everything. But the more, like, there's so much information, so much of so many free tools that you can use and educate yourself. And once you reach the point when you can't make the next step without working with someone else, that's, I think, when you need to, like, you need a team. But so many people are looking for a team when they haven't even tried like the basic steps themselves. And I think that is why some artists actually win and make it, because they do everything they can at like 150% of their capacity. And then they find a team that works at another 150% capacity, and together they make up like a 300% capacity workload. So basically they're able to achieve something great. And as I think, so education, like, people have to be aware. It's like we have people, but I'm not sure how to record at home. Like, dude, like, just open up a laptop, go on YouTube and see how to record myself. And I'm pretty sure by watching 3 or 4 videos, you can get a basic sense of how to do it. I'm not saying you'll become like a professional audio engineer or something, but I'm pretty sure you can set up, a basic recording studio at home. Or, there are many tools right now, especially with the like the AI and all this kind of stuff. If you want to do your own artwork and stuff, you can do it there, etc., etc. We can go on and on. Promotion wise as well, there's plenty of tools that you can use for free. Obviously, promotion is a tricky subject in the music industry overall, but I mean, there are many things that people are not doing at the very basic level that I think is something that is the main problem, and why we see so many artists going. Actually, I wanted to discuss one thing for sure. Why do so many people that, let's say, we see a lot of people kind of like, I'm just going to try, I have nothing to do, I'm just going to try doing like music, right? And coming back to the education part, imagine like you had to fly a plane right now, like it was there and you had to be the pilot, right? So you're like, okay, and you had the opportunity to learn. I'm pretty sure you take your like the max possible time to learn about how to fly a plane, versus people like, all right, I'm gonna start releasing music. So they don't take the time to learn anything, because there is no danger, like there's no risk to that, right? Okay, like they're just gonna try and whatever. But that's why there's no like feeling of there's like less of a barrier to entry in a way. So people don't educate themselves. And I think this is something where if they would put that in perspective and understand, like, it's the same every job you do, you have to know how to do it. You have to learn constantly. Like, we keep on learning every day, no matter what we do, no matter what we approach. And so
I mean, the education part never stops, to be honest.
Stops.
I feel like even when you think you made it, that's when the hard work and even like getting more educated has to be there, because I mean, at the end of the day, the moment that you make it, you discover that it's a whole industry out there that and in a way you need to kind of understand the legal perspective of things, the I don't know, the video side of the things, like all the behind the scenes things that are way more detailed and more complicated than just, you know, okay, let me just show up in front of a mic and start singing and dropping something on Spotify via DistroKid. You know, I mean, it's straight away. I mean, it's a lot of knowledge to be taken in. So I'm not sure how many people actually put the effort in doing it.
Do you know that there is like I think 113 million songs out there with less than 1,000 streams.
Really?
Yeah, and basically Spotify right now, they said that from from 2024, they're no longer paying any royalties for any song that doesn't like reach over 1,000 streams. But if you calculate that, let's do a rough calculation of the world average of being $2,300 per 1 million streams. So that's 113 million like times 1,000 streams. You get basically $250 million worth of revenue of like royalty that is basically right now going to be redistributed or maybe kept by Spotify. We don't know what the plan is for this, for the royalties that are going to be kept. But in a way, I think this is also good because that creates another little barrier. It's not a barrier because let's say if it's not going to stop DistroKid from spitting out all of those releases because they're basically getting their money through the subscriptions, right? They don't care if, like the regular distributor does, they don't care if your song is making any streams or not. So they're dumping all of this material there. Basically, I would say really trashing the algorithm as well, right? And taking up that valuable, I would say, space, right? And I'm not saying that all of those songs that didn't reach 1,000 streams are bad or anything, but a big majority have no serious intent behind them, and they're just creating like huge I don't know, like
I mean, I remember watching like a small snippet video on Instagram with I think a podcast or interview with Neo, and he was saying that the music industry used to be some sort of an elite group back in the days, right? Not everybody was able to do it because of like various reasons, right? And now kind of music became more accessible for everybody, right? An amazing thing because now even from being a bedroom producer or a bedroom artist, you can pop up if you have nice ideas and you actually have the knowledge and the skills, for sure. But now I think maybe there is a trend towards that because I mean it's like the music industry is full of music that doesn't cut through. So I guess this is more or less a cleaning process. But at the same time, the question is, will those kind of or will that gap be, I don't know, filled out by AI music? You know,
could be actually, but I mean, we're gonna see another wave of weird stuff going on. I think already we see lots of, like, I would say trashy or weird content going on with AI and stuff. But c'est la vie. But I think another thing is like if you're coming to the technology, right?
Yeah.
Do you think technology shapes the way we do music now?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. But a bit in a different way because I think it's kind of a chain reaction, and that's how like lots of amazing bedroom producers or artists were able to kind of cut through because the technology going in forward, better sounds, no longer the need for like big analog gears and huge studios, right? If you have an amazing idea, you might be able to do everything by like on your own and to actually put out everything. So I guess the technology helps in that way. With with a decent MacBook or whatever, a Windows PC, you can easily kind of like get the most out of it for sure, and you can
But like from the creative perspective, like, do you think that the technology is affecting the way, let's say, the music is done, the music is composed?
Yeah.
But for example, what I was leaning more towards is like for example, the length, right? The song length, right? If we look at the song length back in the day, it was basically limited by the CDs, by the vinyls, right? So it was kind of a physical limitation. Right now, then at some point, it was a limitation from the radios, even though some big bands like the Beatles and the Pink Floyd, they have kind of like broken those rules because
Queen,
they had the right to put 4 minutes, 5 minute songs, and that was fine. But the thing is now that the tendency that we see is that the songs are getting very, very short. 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Sometimes we hear a song with chorus, verse, chorus only, and that's it, kind of. And then it's kind of made in like it's too short, so people kind of stream it again. They stream it again. They double the streams, so the algorithm like kind of thinks like, hey, like that's a very hot song. Okay, I gotta push it out to people and put it in my discovery algo or whatever. And in a way, I think we end up with a very kind of a mechanical approach. Same goes for the I mean, the radio's pushed it like low, but the TikTok, right? Like TikTok with their 15-second snippets, many people are like, all right, I'm just going to do a 15-second snippet on TikTok. And if it works, I might finish the song. So this, like, it's kind of like before songs were, I think, maybe like written in I mean, I didn't live in that era, right? And I think maybe they were written with a more of like, okay, I'm going to write a song. It's going to be a piece, like as a one thing. Right now, it's kind of just like almost like a business approach to music. It's like, all right, the 15-second snippet doesn't work. Never mind. I never liked that piece anyways. You know, it's like, so they want to like kind of, the people just kind of like do those snippets and then, okay, if it works, we continue. And, you know, we'll see how we can add something to it. So in a way, it may not even sound, I mean, lots of songs sound great still. I'm not saying they sound bad, but the intent of the way it's created, I think, is very, very different, and it's very mechanical. Another example I'm sure you know of is that if you're not, you know how Spotify doesn't pay for the first 30 seconds if the user is not engaged.
Okay.
So you're not, it doesn't count as a paid stream. Okay. So basically what as a producer, you're like, okay, I want to make sure that the first 30 seconds of my song are really, really like engaging. So that means that you're no longer going to put like a really, you know, crazy long intro or something that, you know, might not sound as engaging, but might develop into a really beautiful intro and kind of tell a bigger story through the song. But in the end, you're like, all right, I'm just going to cut straight to the point. I'm going to drop the chorus on second number 2 and have a certain BPM because I know that's what the algorithm likes. I know a certain key, a certain, you know, change of structure. And those are the things that are very kind of like this data. You can access this and you can actually, you can manipulate then your own productions to fit and your own compositions to fit that. But then it's kind of like, you know,
I mean,
is that creativity?
I was thinking even now, you know, how interesting it is because back in the days when I like started producing or when I was producing, more or less, it was still in trend to do intros of a song, you know, to actually start smoothly.
I like my intros, man. I mean, I like to listen to the intros. I don't like the song starting, like, personally, sometimes yes, but I do like the intros and I do like the sonic. I do like songs to be unique. I do. I'm the kind of I'm the kind of guy that like listens to the song from the beginning to the end. I know some people listen to like the verse and the chorus skip,
they jump,
skip.
You know, like,
I hate that. And like I'm driving sometimes with people like that in the car. I'm like, dude, stop doing that. If you start a song, please finish it. You know, like so. Yeah.
No. I mean, that's true. That's true. And I was thinking that even like I love that thing, but because this whole industry went into a direction where like straight away you have to jump like exactly to the main part straight away, sell it in like the first 10 seconds if it's possible, or in the first second, and I kind of was thinking that, oh wow, it takes a lot of time for the song to actually start. So even I kind of got rid of that mentality, you know, that I used to like back in the days. And I mean, I would like if I would do it like that, right? But then straight away it felt like so long, the intro, and I was still waiting for them to jump on
straight
it,
to the point.
Straight to the point, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think
so. It's infectious.
Yeah, it's infectious, and I think the industry shape us as well. You know.
I mean, in general, you see that going on everywhere. better with the content, with edits. Like sometimes I see some content, I'm like, I don't even understand. Like it looks like it's almost epileptic to me. So I mean, it's I think that's the trend. But as the trends go, like if you look at the graph actually of like the song durations, they kind of went up and then they're going down. I think they're going to dip down again and then go up. So it's kind of like, I think
it's quite
like
circular,
everything in life circulates. So in 2024, an artist nowadays has to do way more than he had to do before. So an artist has to be his own, like literally his own PR manager, his own promoter, his own like videographer, kind of his own photographer, because he has to be present on the social media. Back in the day, it was all in the hands of a label, and things were done behind the closed doors, kind of. So like the label power right now. Do you think the labels have the power nowadays or no?
I mean, they still have some sort of a power, but these days, like lots of artists actually, they take over their career, and it's easier for them to take over the career because this way they are also able to communicate well with their fan base. Of course, I mean, back in the days, you had one person doing all the talk and the communication with the fan base from the artist side of views. But I mean, these days, people want to see the artist actually doing this stuff. People want to see the artist promoting the music or talking about what's behind it. If you have somebody as a third party, coming in and talking about the song of that artist, might not be that that good. So I guess in a way now an artist is kind of he has to like or he or she has to like do everything. And I mean, this is the shape of the industry these days. But at the same time, if you think about back in the days, let's say the PR side of the art, the things or of the artist, the artist could not go outside and put banners on the the walls, right? Because that was the promotion and the PR back in the days. Now, more or less, the promotion focuses around the social medias, right? The artist can do it. I mean, and it's even better if you do it in a natural way. So from your own bedroom, you can quickly, shoot like two, three Instagram videos or TikToks, right? And then straight away
like coming back to the labels, right? Like basically from what you're saying, the artist is not doing that, right? So it's not the PR that is doing that. That's from the label. It's not I mean, for the big guys, of course, they still have the PR manager, but let's say we're talking about the developing artists, right? So you will have basically, so then what does the label do? Is the label worth, like so many people I see, they're trying to get signed by those labels and stuff. And the big question is why?
I mean, I think they still have a perception of, I don't know, if you want to make it, you need to be signed.
Or it's because they don't want to work themselves.
Or
so that's exactly coming back to our first discussion, that they are not, they're under knowledge, they don't want to take the knowledge, they don't, like, in a way, majority, I'm not saying like they do want to work, but they don't want to work at this kind of 24/7, because right now the artists have to work 24/7. Really, I'm looking at all the things they have to do, all the things that's practically irreplaceable by other people. You can get some teams, you can get help, but there's so much on the shoulders of artists right now if you want to make it. So I think the label is when you need a label is when you want to get those big distribution deals, when you have already a big plan, when you already know what you're doing, when you kind of like semi-established. That's when you need a label to push you, and not a label to give you an advance for this and that. Because I mean, by that time, you already probably have your audience. Yes, you can take an advance if you want to market your stuff a bit more, aggressively, and do that also on your side. But it's not something that label. You see so many labels, you see so many major labels. I mean, especially here in Switzerland, you'll see many big labels with signing all those artists, and then the question is, what are you doing, guys? They have basically like maybe 3-4 releases per year. None of them really like are being pushed. So the question is, what's the benefit of like this guy being under like this big label or another big label, without throwing names?
Without throwing names, but I think there's a need for everybody in the industry, right? I mean, for independent artists, for signed artists as well, there's room for everybody. But I feel like, I mean, yeah, the labels might put out 3 songs, but if that's all they have to work with, at the same time, can be like, okay, I mean, they need, as you said, persistent artists who are putting in the work, because the label will not write the songs for you.
Right now you need to, as an artist, release at least 12 releases per year.
Sure.
You need release each month. You have those monthly listeners on Spotify. That's something that's going to be pushing your algorithm, and then that's something with, I'm not saying kind of volume over quality, but it has to be also quality. So and if I think this is something where you have to like kind of really understand, if you want to become a bigger artist, that you do have to have a more consistent flow. It has to be planned out. It has to be thought through. But on the other hand, you don't need a label for that.
For sure.
You don't. I mean, you can still do all of those things. You can find, there's plenty of bedroom producers, right? There's plenty of producers. Like if you're a starting out singer, there's plenty of artists that are, I mean, it's producers that are starting out as well. Connect with them. It's free. I mean, it's in one day you can find tens of different producers, songwriters, and you just have to find the one that you will click with. Obviously not an easy task on that side, but you can find people to work with, somebody who's as passionate as you are, who have the same direction, and then create. And I think right now, it's a lot of stuff. Like as an artist, let's say you're a pop singer, right? You have to write your songs, you have to communicate about, like, you have to do your different social media, and with the coming out with of TikTok and stuff on the the daily life and the daily schedule, you will have I mean, just to shoot a TikTok can be really, really long sometimes. I mean, it can take a lot of time. So you'll have those artists writing songs, filming TikToks, then filming other stories, and talking about their music, promoting their releases, promoting their shows, rehearsing for their shows, thinking about their shows, thinking about the next marketing strategies, etc. So there's lots of things that that's around, and in the same time they might also have to make a living, so it's not like you start making money in the music industry from day one. So I mean, there's a lot of work that has to be done by the art. I mean, creating artworks, finding your guy that's going to shoot you a video, then edit with him, or things like that is taking a lot of time from the artist right now. Whereas back in the day, I think the artists had more time to actually create and to just be focused right now. So so many distractions. So I mean, but that's where it comes. I think that's where it's difficult for people.
Each artist or for people, and also that's the moment where you need to decide if you are going to have a discipline, some sort of a discipline, right? I mean, because it's hard to cover all these sides of things without some sort of a discipline, without being,
I can't keep up with my socials. Thankfully, I don't have to promote anything on my socials. I'm not an artist, but that, I mean, that's something that I feel it's daunting. I mean, you have to check, reply. I mean, obviously you have to then keep the engagement up. If you post something, reply to all the people, then, see what's up, then tag, even just making a story and tagging 10 different people can be quite a lengthy process.
That's true, but also, and at the same time, as a disclaimer, we don't take examples such as, I don't know, Ed Sheeran or other artists who they don't have to post anything anymore, on their Instagram, and their career is still going for sure.
Yeah, but the thing is, the amount of touring they do is compensated by that. It's not like they're right now not posting and then just chilling, right? The guys are 365 shows per year, and they just don't have the time. They have to sleep sometimes, and most of the time they do sleep on the planes or somewhere in between, and they're different tours, cities they're touring, and they're not just touring their country, they're touring worldwide, so if this year they might have an Asian tour, the next year they might have a European tour, and then it's going to be the US tour, and what's not so it's kind of it's just being they don't need to promote it. It's not like they don't want to do that. They might want to promote it more. I'm just thinking that it's becomes a bit of less of a priority for them, and they in the end can afford the teams that can push it out and stuff and work for them on that on that front.
Side. Yeah, exactly.
So I think in a way, but as a starting artist, there is way more that it's not like, I just did a song now like everyone listen to me. No, you wrote a song, you produced a song. That's like 5% of the work done. Then the real work starts, and that's what a lot of people don't understand, and I think don't want to understand, because it's not. It's the fun part is making a song, but the rest is making it, listen to it, and make it, expose it to the world.
And to be honest, even with like artists, upcoming artists, but also let's say medium or big artists as well. I had some situations where the whole promotion was on the release day, one post on Instagram. And they're like, I promoted the song, I mean, on the release day. I mean, everybody has to understand that that's not promotion. I mean, you have to like be the biggest spammer possible to I don't know, to...
You have to build your community. You have to share. You have to make the main thing is about building the community. If the community is going to support you, then they're going to like share your stuff, and then there's other people that, when people share, I think sharing is a very big factor, because when you see other people sharing and someone else's music and stuff, you get this perception that, this guy is influencing those people, and then that's the perception of having a certain power, and that's when you start influencing more people and more other people. So I think you have to build a community, you have to share, you have to keep on doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And again, I mean, it's a process. You might get the result after years, of doing this like every day, and on a daily basis.
Talking about promotion, what are some tips and tricks that you can say?
Oh wow! I guess this would be the...
I mean, you also release. You also have your project, and I mean, you have millions of streams and on your songs and stuff. So I mean, what do you do? What is it that you do, and you're not signed to a label? I mean, you do it by yourself. Yeah. If you can maybe share your experience.
I mean, I'm happy to say that it's not. I'm not saying it as a good or bad thing, but throughout the years, I worked a lot with labels as well. But I was never signed as my project. So I mean, and it worked pretty well. So I mean, the key when you want to stay more or less independent is to actually be as involved as possible. I'm sure that I'm not the kind of the biggest Instagram post guy, because I mean the schedule doesn't allow me to do that. But I mean every time I keep on trying to be consistent with the releases. That's for sure. I mean, I'm not missing out on releases, literally lots of releases, lots of collaborations as well. I mean, because it's an EDM scene, I mean, it's okay to have like lots of collaborations with vocalists, other DJs, other producers. I mean, it's nice, it's dynamic. You get always kind of...
just for some people that don't understand what happens during a collaboration. So it's like... it's basically when you're joining two profiles. You have monthly. Let's say you have like 200,000 monthly listeners, and then someone else has like 5 million monthly listeners. Then when you join on the song together, if it's not a featuring, but if it's like two main artists, basically, this song will show up on both of those profiles, and meaning that it will touch now algorithmically the profiles of all of those monthly listeners, and as well people that have the same music profile and music taste as all of those people. So right now you grow your audience instantaneously. So collaborations,
exactly.
Consistency, collaborations.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, like literally trying to stick to that helped me a lot to grow my project, and at the same time kind of not to lose the engagement, and not to lose not to do steps backwards. I mean, we kept on kind of doing songs as many songs as we can, and I mean in the end I guess these are the two things that I've been
talking about, like more concrete features, right? Like let's say on Spotify there is a new discovery feature right now, right, where you can select certain songs from your catalog that are going to be eligible for this feature, and what it does is that for the next month, you push it out more to the discovery algorithm, like you select, but in return you're paying 30% of the royalties back to Spotify, or basically you're receiving 30% less. Same thing. But I think this is a really, really great tool that people should and artists should utilize, because the main monetization of an artist usually comes from live, from shows. You're going to sell way more live shows, way more. You're going to have a way higher, let's say, price tag on your shows if your songs are going to be bigger. So you shouldn't be greedy on that. You should be, accepting those terms, that because other people will, and they're going to take, because there's always going to be someone who's going to accept those terms. So we call it like, in other businesses, that's kind of like market dampening and stuff. So it's kind of the same thing, that doing that, but you have to accept the terms and go ahead with it. You're not big enough yet as a developing artist to, let's say, not to accept those terms. Taylor Swift can, make her, statements, make her moves here and there. But if you're a developing artist, you have to accept the rules and accept those terms. There's another one.
To do some sort of a compromise, as you right. I mean, it's hard to say that you will go through or you will get up there without any compromise.
So the Spotify Showcase basically is kind of like a marquee campaign, from what I understood. And please correct me in the comments. But it's it allows you, when you go on your Spotify, it will show your profile like on the homepage, kind of as a suggested, like as a banner. And that is something that you can set up. So it's different from marquee, because a marquee is kind of like a pop-up ad, right? A showcase, it's kind of like, on YouTube, you go on your main page and then you have different like videos that it suggests you. From what I understood, is kind of the same thing, where you have just a suggested page on your homepage, and because it also does it by matching like the taste, knowing the algorithm, but it's another great tool that people should set up.
I mean, you see, there are so many like tools that keep on, showing up. So the industry is dynamic, right? I mean, that's, I think, another secret for any artist to stay updated, to stay up to date to those stuff, and to keep on like following what each platform has to offer, because they might take advantage in the actual beginning of
the best thing to do is just to sign up to, like, let's say, a Spotify newsletter. I mean, I get this info, like I read what they come out. They don't roll out that many features, but so it's very hard to miss the very few they do. And when they release something, make sure you're the first one. Make sure you're the first one to learn it, to study, to take the advantage of it. Because if you're like just like the first guy that's going to use this showcase feature, you might hit. I mean, your advertisement might be cheaper, as there's going to be less competition for that. For that same spot, So you want to be first. You want to be always on the edge, and you just have to once again have more education. Always learn, always learn, and this way you can always stay, kind of ahead, at least one step ahead than someone who didn't know that.
That's true. That's true.
And same goes for the Canvas feature. I remember when the Canvas came out. The Canvas feature came out, and I remember one of our artists didn't have that feature. I wrote straight away to the distribution. I see, whoa, 1 second, we see J Balvin has the Canvas feature, and we don't. We need to request access from Spotify before waiting for before having Spotify give the access, automatically, which took some time. And this increased. I mean, I've noticed myself once I landed on a song. And I didn't even listen to the song, I remember, at that point. I was just kind of like scrolling through something, and then I end up on this, when a canvas is just a perfect loop. When it loops perfectly and just restarts. And it was so kind of...
So satisfying.
It was so satisfying. And it was so kind of... it was kind of engaging, I would say, right? And I just stared for like a minute, and while the song was playing, and obviously then I got to hear the song, I got exposed to the song, I mean, Canvas can be a good feature. I'm not saying it's like make or break it, but it can maybe be a 1%, 2% increase. And the thing is, in the eyes of Spotify and other distribution platforms and other partners, if you're not utilizing all the tools, let's say if you don't have your Canvas up there on Spotify, it just shows that you're not bothered. And why would anybody be bothered if you're not bothered to do even the most basic thing, right? To use the tools that are there free, that are accessible for all. So yeah, I think this is something where, I mean, a lot of artists hopefully, take home kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
then and kind of reevaluate. Okay, what are the
Yeah.
tools I have? What are the things I can do without anyone's help? Where do I need help? Like, okay,
Mhm.
I can't do this and that. I need help. Okay, that's another point. But all of those things that you can, if you can, use Instagram and TikTok, then you can do like 90% of the stuff already.
For sure, easily. Well, I mean, I guess that's
So
a
we'll
good way to end
can
the
be, yeah.
first
So
episode.
we'll jump
I mean,
more into different kind of topics next time. And
yeah.
thank you for being with us.
I
And
mean, see you next time. I
see
hope
you
you
next
enjoyed
time.
it. Make sure to kind of leave any feedbacks in the comments, and also to hit us up with any question, but as well any suggestions of subjects that we can approach in the next episodes as well. So I mean, yeah,
Feel free
yeah,
in the comments below.
exactly. See
Cheers.
you next time.